Simplified Chaos, episode 42.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey, wonderful friends. Welcome to another episode of Simplified Chaos, or maybe it's your first time. Hey there. This is Jillian, and I'm with my co-host and my lovely, handsome husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? Thank you for that warm introduction, Jilly. You're looking quite sexy yourself in just a bra and panties.
I'm really hot.
Yeah.
Nope, like temperature hot.
Well, both.
Well, I appreciate that gesture. I was in long sleeves and capris, and I was just burning up.
You were.
Maybe I'm ovulating. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
No, let's not see what happens.
But we got another great episode for you folks today. Jilly, what are we diving into?
Traditions. Sorry, I had to say it that way.
I don't know what that means.
It's from Fiddler on the Roof, and I was forced to watch the VHS in band in middle school. But
Still don't know what that means.
It's a musical. It's a song.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, our episode is all about how to simplify traditions and just to keep them enjoyable and meaningful.
Hell yeah. I like traditions.
I do too.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about this one.
And I know we kind of talked a little bit before. You kind of categorized them very well, so I'm excited for your organization
so maybe, okay.
in this episode.
Yeah, let's do that. But before we dive into traditions, it is a tradition on this podcast to do gratitude segment.
Touché.
Which means we show gratitude for things in our lives. So, Jilly, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for my dad.
I thought you were going to go there.
Yeah.
I had a good suspicion that was what you were going to say.
So my mom usually watches Lucille while I go to work and teach, but my mom is taking a vacation, and my dad flew in from Arizona and is watching Lucille, and he is just...
He's rocking it.
He's embracing all of it and bonding, and I'm getting like the cutest video footage of him and his adventures with Lucille, and he's a little bit more adventurous than my mom, so he just wants to take her to all the places. So they've been going to different parks and swinging and just doing all the things. And not that my mom isn't adventurous, but my dad just, well, he kind of lets Lucille just go outside on her porch and possibly crawl down the steps without any parental supervision. So he's a little...
Just gotta learn.
Yes, but it still makes me a little nervous.
Gampy's the one who's going to let her learn.
Yes.
I know.
His nickname is Gampy. It's such a weird grandpa name, but I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, thanks, Dad. Shout out to you.
Yeah. Shout out.
All right, what about you, hun?
So I am grateful for a new tradition.
New, old, new. You just sandwiched that.
I did.
New, old, new tradition.
So... one of our favorite sushi places was Otani, and it still is one of our favorite sushi places, but coincidentally, one of our favorite people who worked there opened or took over a new restaurant, which is not a new restaurant. It's been around this area for a long time, but she's now the new owner of it. And one day I happened to walk in and she goes, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "I own the restaurant now." And it was mostly known for their Chinese food and even their Thai food a little bit. And their sushi was just kind of mediocre, I guess, at best. But she has come in and she brought her husband over from our previous favorite restaurant, Otani. And we just had our first sushi experience at Lee's. And oh my God, it was amazing. So I am very grateful that we had built a nice relationship at Otani, and that we're able to keep that relationship now at Lee's, which is literally right around the corner from our house. We don't have to drive, and not that Gambril's was a far drive for us.
Yeah.
But we really only have to drive 2 minutes to get some of the best sushi in Maryland. So that is what I'm grateful for.
And it's kind of cool, and I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, when you go to a restaurant and you're regular and you just develop that really good relationship with someone who works there. That was what we had developed with her, because we had our first date at
Otani,
the restaurant where she used to work at. So she's known us for 5+ years.
Chili.
What?
7.
I said 5+, which could be 7.
I have the exact number.
So she's known us for quite a while, and just now that we have Lucille, she's interacting with her, and it's just really cool to have that relationship with her.
Yeah.
And it's just through the restaurant.
And we had a jaw-dropping moment when we were there on Saturday. Lucille normally does not like to be picked up by anybody else except for me, you, and
Her
your
aunt
mom
and
her
our
aunt. So
grandmother.
there's like 4 people, and the owner, the lady that we know, picked her up and walked away with her over to the fish tank. She did not peep, did not cry, not anything, which is totally not normal. And you and I just kind of sat there and in disbelief, and it was really cool to see that. So maybe Lucille's turning a corner. Maybe.
Possibly. But yeah, shout out to Lee's Szechuan.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Check it out if you're in Maryland and Millersville.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, traditions.
Jilly. Yep. So, I thought we should be covering this topic because I think sometimes we can kind of feel stuck in doing the same traditions year after year, especially without really evaluating if they're bringing us value anymore. I think sometimes we can get in the habit of just doing a tradition but not really being mindful about it, and you're just going through the motions. So I guess since we've been simplifying our life, we kind of look at what we're doing with a lot more intention, obviously, and we want to make sure it aligns with our values. So obviously our values, I think we've talked about it before. We value health, we value, experiences, we value family, friends. So we want to make sure that what we're doing is, it meets all those standards, so to say.
And our values have changed over the years. Our values when we first started dating aren't necessarily the same values that we have now. So we've been able to change our traditions to meet our values, and sometimes it's a small tweak, and sometimes it's completely abandoning something, and sometimes it's trying something new and seeing if it sticks. And I think we've done all of that. When you were talking about the same tradition over and over again, all I can think of is Ron Burgundy saying, "We've been coming to the same party for years, and in no way is that depressing."
Which party?
The one at the very beginning of Anchorman. Anyways, you don't get it.
No, I kept thinking, I thought of Ron. Oh my God, I thought of the total wrong
You
Ron.
think of Ron Swanson?
Yes. And I was like, wait, what party are you talking about?
That's a long series.
But I thought maybe we can kind of bring a new perspective of looking at traditions, and maybe to help you guys look at your traditions with kind of like fresh eyes, just to make sure it's helping you to just create amazing memories and not wasting time doing something that you feel like you have to do, because you have a choice and you can absolutely change it. And that's kind of what we have done over the past couple years, and we're a lot happier and healthier for it. So, I'm excited to dive into this and just talk about what traditions we have and how we've tweaked them a bit to just make them more aligned to what makes us truly happy.
So really kind of, when I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking of all the different traditions we have, and we have actually, when I wrote them all down, it's like quite a few. And I was like, okay, well, how can we break this up? And I have 4 categories, and it's even tough because a lot of these categories tend to overlap. So I broke it down into family traditions, traditions with friends, we have vacation traditions, and then we have holiday traditions. And there's probably some other ones here and there that are in there that I just didn't even think of. But those are kind of the 4 categories that when I put all this stuff down, that I kind of brought everything together. So I don't know how you want to tackle this, or if you want me to just kind of start naming a couple of things that we've done.
Well, it's interesting because when I hear the word traditions, I immediately just think of holidays, but I like that you took it to other categories in our life that I honestly didn't think about. So vacation, I think you're absolutely right about how we do have kind of specific traditions with vacationing.
And they tend to fall around holidays too. Some of them do. So there's some overlapping there. Excuse me, I was burping.
And part of me likes the fact that we do traditions for vacations, because I feel like it forces us to travel more, because we do have this habit of traveling at specific times of the year. And I like that it forces us to just get out of town for a little bit and to travel. So I think that's kind of like a pro of having traditions for traveling, is just making sure, especially if it's like a time of year like that forces you to go someplace, that I like that it forces us to make sure that we are getting experiences, even though we may be like, this is a difficult time, like we have to stay at home, we have to do this. It's like, no, we have this on the calendar, we do it every year, like it forces us to get out and to do things. So it's just interesting how you thought of traditions versus how I thought of it, and I'm intrigued.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then there's, everyone has their own way of thinking of traditions, and, traditions can be even, something as simple as you go to Starbucks, a certain day of the week, and that's your kind of tradition. I go every Friday, or I go to Wawa every Friday and treat myself to a schmegel.
You do?
No.
Wait, Wawa doesn't have schmegels. That's Sheets, isn't it?
Sizzlers. Or Sizzles.
Sizzlers.
I don't know. They're all the same.
You eat your oats every morning.
I eat my oats.
What's your
I do
protein
like my
powder?
oats.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, I kind of wanted to start with holidays because I feel like that's kind of like the main tradition kind of thing.
I thought, yeah.
And so, of course, the best holiday, in my humbled opinion, is Thanksgiving. Who does not love Thanksgiving and stuffing and turkey and all that good stuff? I mean, I don't care if it's healthy or not. Thanksgiving food is just freaking delicious.
Well, we've tweaked our tradition to make it healthier.
We have.
But it's still just
But we
as
still
damn
have the
good.
essentials, too.
Oh, no, we have.
Yes.
But yeah, we've definitely tweaked Thanksgiving. And
there you go.
Sorry, my husband's waving me. I'm not close to the mic.
She's staring.
I'm so hot. Damn it. So we always get together with family for Thanksgiving. We keep that part of the tradition the same.
And this year we'll be hosting.
Yes, and we've hosted in years past.
We have.
And was it 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago when you were pregnant with Lucille.
Yes, we decided as a family that we were all going to go to Savannah, Georgia, and it was so...
It's a fun trip.
It was so flippin' rad, and it was so awesome that we decided not this year, but next year we all want to go to Savannah again because it was like the perfect time of year. It's the perfect town where you can walk everywhere and explore, and not everyone has to be together. We can kind of go on our own and do what we want to do, but everything's in walking distance, and we can still have really good food and have quality family time, and that aligns with our values. We still get to have family time. We have experiences. We get to travel, and it's healthy because we get amazing food and we get to walk around. So
Exactly.
I mean, it pretty much it falls in all those categories.
Yeah, and one of the things. So I'm going to kind of mix travel with or vacation with Thanksgiving, and obviously Savannah was one of those destinations, but in the past, when we first started dating, we would, the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday, we would always drive up to Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, which is a nice tiny small town that has some really good food, some great hiking around there, and that was kind of our tradition for, I would say, 3 or 4 years. I would say probably 4 years. But now that we've had Lucille and we've done some different things around Thanksgiving, that not necessarily our tradition anymore to go to Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, we realized it wasn't probably the best baby-friendly area. I mean, I'm sure we could have made it work, but it just didn't seem like it was the right time to go. And we were okay abandoning that tradition for however long until we feel like we can go back. But I think it's...
And I think when she's probably like 5 or 6, when we can take her on the train and she can start exploring again, but for now it's a tradition that's on hold. Yeah,
for me, I think it works best if we kind of hold traditions loosely. That way we are flexible to change them when we want to, and especially having a baby, it definitely, it added a little bump to the road, and to kind of reevaluate, like, is this tradition the most realistic and enjoyable way that we want to spend our time together? And we thought, probably not the best time now with her. Like, maybe at a different age we'll reevaluate it. But yeah, we kind of tweaked it and decided that, we do love that tradition, but having Lucille is just, at this age, it's just not the best for us.
So this year, we are going to completely abandon our daughter and head to Charleston.
That sounds horrible.
The day after Thanksgiving.
We're going to leave her at home alone.
So no, she will be with her grandmother and her aunt. So, it'll be a fun time, but it'll be our longest time away from Lucille as well. So
it is.
It's not necessarily going to be a tradition, but it has been a tradition for us to go somewhere the day after Thanksgiving, which I hope we continue to do that.
Yeah, and I like that we're not very rigid with whatever tradition we plan for 1 year. Like, it's very open-ended, and we're open to changing it the next following year. So I like that even not even you and us together as a family, but I think even our extended family is very flexible and open, and we're, they're very cool about if we want to change anything or tweak anything.
Yeah. And I will say the last thing around Thanksgiving, and then we can move on to
you
another
really love
holiday.
Thanksgiving, don't you?
Friendsgiving.
Oh, Friendsgiving.
And this kind of mixes in with holidays and friends.
True.
And we have a core group of friends for, I want to say, at least the last 5 years, if not longer, have gotten together for Friendsgiving.
So grateful for them.
It's amazing. Everybody brings a dish. We play games. I think Cards Against Humanity has made their way out a few times, but I mean, it's just great to just be around really close friends and people that you really care about. And I think that's going to be the common theme that we talk about when it comes to traditions is being around people that, we enjoy being around. We enjoy their company and conversation and everything like that.
Yeah. Why waste your time with people who don't? I mean, that seems silly to me.
Yeah. So moving on to another holiday tradition, let's move on to Xmas.
Christmas time.
So we have two really kind of long-standing traditions with Christmas. Number one is our annual tree cutting, which we've done since 2012 when we had our first Christmas tree.
I think I just peed my pants.
Oh man, I farted, guys. I don't think you guys heard it, but Jill definitely did.
Oh, we're not cutting this out, are we? Oh, shenanigans.
But we've had a core group of friends that we go to a Christmas tree farm and cut down a tree every year since 2012.
You mean we don't cut the cheese at the farm?
Well, and that's actually been a fun tradition too. I'm trying to keep this serious.
I'm sorry. No, I really enjoy.
We've been at Christmas tree cutting. We've been told that certain people have been we're expecting children for the first time. Like there's just been a lot of cool things that's happened with this tree cutting. The one year that we went up and it snowed like 5 inches from the time we got there until the time we had to drive home, and it was like one of the most treacherous drives. I mean, we've had a lot of just fun memories just from doing that annual Christmas tree cutting. And we tried different tree farms, but we always seem to end up back at the one tree farm.
The one in Tawnytown?
Yeah. And then we always have a nice big lunch afterwards. And it's funny how it's changed from the first time we went, there was no kids. There were 0 kids. And now everyone's got 1, 2. Anybody have 3 kids that we bring? No, everyone's got 1 or 2 kids. And then so lunch has changed now. It's little kids running around restaurants eating chicken fingers, fries, and all that good stuff. I mean, it's the way it's evolved is just one of those traditions that we still want to do, but it's always going to evolve.
And I always remember the joy of going to get a Christmas tree. And we never went to a tree farm per se. We went to a parking lot and bought a tree, but it was still so exciting. And to me, that kind of just shows you that it doesn't matter where you are, the location. It's just the act of doing something together with people who you enjoy, and we do that. And if we can't make it out that far to cut a tree, we're all open to changing that. But I think just the act of getting together with people you really care about and you love, and just doing something that is just fun for everybody.
Exactly.
And I
get to cut shit down.
It's exciting to think about, like, through Lucille's eyes, that this is going to be something that's going to be like
she's going
her
to be walking
tradition
this year now. Like it's like this year is going to be a completely different experience than last year, and I can't wait to do it again.
She's going to be walking in a bundled snowsuit versus being carried in a snowsuit or worn.
Yeah. But and then the other thing around Christmas that we've done, and this kind of goes again with friends, we always used to. Now this isn't the tradition anymore, so now that we have kids. But we used to always, after we had time with our families on Christmas Eve, we would go to a bar in Millersville that was really close to the high school that we all went to. It's called Hella's. And we would go there and listen to some god-awful karaoke.
Horrible karaoke.
Drink some cheap beer and just have a good time. Like, it was just kind of the Christmas Eve tradition up until about, I want to say 2 years ago is when we really last did that.
Yeah.
And that's when kids started coming into the picture. So now what we're trying to do is Jill and I have started this, hopefully, which will become a tradition, but kind of like an open house on Christmas Eve. We're not the kind of churchgoers or anything like that, but we kind of open our house up from like 3 p.m. until like 10 or 11. And any friends or family who wants to come over and hang out, bring a dish or whatever, are welcome. And it's just a really great time to just be around people that you love and care about, during the holidays.
Well, we also used to go with my dad to Georgetown every year.
That's right.
So every Christmas Eve day, we would go to Georgetown, and my dad would purchase me and my sister. He would buy us one or two items for Christmas, and that was his gift to us. And then we'd all have lunch together, and we really enjoyed that. And now that my dad's in Arizona, it's not so feasible anymore. So the fact that he moved, it kind of forces us in a fun way to kind of recreate our own traditions.
Exactly.
And to decide what we want to do on Christmas Eve day. And I like that we're open to change. And yeah, for right now, like I love having the open house because Lucille can roam and do whatever she wants, and we can meet with friends and drink at home and have fun. But I do like the tradition of just being with friends Christmas Eve. It's a lot of fun to me.
Yeah. So one other so a family tradition that we just started this year, which unfortunately you weren't able to make it, but my
then
mom's,
it's not a tradition if I wasn't there.
It's gonna be a tradition.
I'm just kidding.
But with my mom's side of the family, we had a picnic not too long ago. It was actually 2 weeks ago, and we are looking to make that an annual tradition, where we get together. It
was like a family reunion kind of thing.
Kind of, but I mean, it's kind of immediate family. It wasn't like extended family and people we have no idea who they were. It's the people that we grew up with during the holidays and stuff like that. And we decided, hey, let's all get together and have a picnic and barbecue and talk and catch up. And it was a lot of fun. So I hope that's a tradition that we continue, with that side of the family.
It is kind of neat how someone took the time to plan one single day where it forces everyone in that family to come together, and it's not a holiday.
No.
But you decided to make it a special event because you want to bring all of the family together on some random day, but that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, it was great.
And all it takes is just to put out an invitation like, hey, we want to do this. We would love for you to come. It's just kind of interesting how simple it is.
Just tell us what dish you want to bring, and boom, we'll get it done. So it was really cool. The last one I really wanted to talk about is something that we've been doing for an awful long time, and maybe even started before you and I even started dating. And that has been steak night / movie night with friends.
Yes, I was telling my coworker about this because she was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I said, "Oh, we're having a movie night." And she's like, "Oh, a movie night?" And I said, "Yeah, so we're not doing it right now, but the guys are."
The ladies
this is in the group,
guys and girls thing.
We pick a specific person in the group picks a movie quote, and they quote that quote for 100 days. They have to text it for 100 days straight. And once you're
crazy,
done, I know.
Fun, man.
When I first heard of this is from my Nick's side.
Yeah, I think
friends.
My buddies started this, and then they brought me in.
Yes.
And it's just been. I mean, I can list off all the movies that we've done. It's insane.
Yeah, so after you quote the movie for 100 days by texting it to the group, you can't miss a day either.
Yeah,
so
if you miss a day, you start over.
Yes. So we quote the movie for 100 days straight, and then once you're done, it forces us to all get together and actually watch that movie. And we were doing it pretty consistently, the girls and the guys. And now the girls are like, this is too much. We got kids. We can't handle it. And then the guys are still doing it. You guys
we're
are still doing it.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, it also forces us to text each other every day. And then usually a conversation starts from that message or whatever. So, I think it's just really cool. And, part of that tradition, what it used to be is that, I mean, we would do movie night and we would go through some beer.
You would get hammered.
We would get hammer time. And whenever the quote of the movie was said, we would pause the movie and we would all shotgun a beer. I know, very juvenile, very college. That's fine. I can't do that at 37 anymore. So movie night has even kind of changed. Like the tradition is we still have a movie. We've also integrated steak night with it because
Steak
me and
night?
my friends tend to make a lot of bets with each other, and somebody has to lose. And whenever that person loses, they have to provide steaks for the rest of the group. So
I'm happy.
We've turned it. Of course, and the women of our group have benefited from our steak bets because they get free steak and they don't have to put in on anything. I will say though that you help me out with the sides when it's my turn to bring sides.
I do.
Yeah,
I make a
which
good
I
salad.
really appreciate.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yeah, even movie nights evolved where we're not getting hammered anymore because there's kids around, and we're not shotgunning beers anymore. So even that tradition has changed. But I mean, it's kind of like goes back to what we're talking about. Like, some of these traditions may sound goofy to you, but I mean, they mean a lot to us, and we've changed them to fit where we're at in our points of life, and so have the people that we shared them with. And it's kind of funny how as we all grow up together, as we're all starting to have kids together, how we all still tend to value the same things but differently at different points in our life. So it makes these adjustments to the traditions a lot easier.
I agree. And I love that all of the people that we love are very flexible and open to changing. So we all understand that, yes, we all have kids now. So when we do get together, there's a lot of changes we have to make, and we're all receptive to that. But the important thing is that we're coming together. We're getting that human connection. We get to converse with adults, which is nice. And
I'm getting that human connection right now.
And it was funny. The last movie night we had, I think I maybe watched. It was Orange County. It was my movie, which is such a great movie.
It is a funny movie.
We are the same height.
That is neat.
So I think we only watched like the last 30 minutes of it, and I was completely okay with that because we were holding Lucille, we were eating steaks, and we were just conversing with everyone and talking, because I feel like we don't get together as much now that we have kids and our lifestyles are a little bit more busy and chaotic than they normally were. So I love that we're all open to changing traditions, but still making the point to get together and have that time together.
Yes.
Cool.
Anything else you want to drop on traditions? Did we miss anything? I think we covered some good bases here today.
We did.
All right.
I'm kind of curious to hear what other people's traditions are with their friends or their family, because now that you talked about vacation traditions, which you didn't talk about how we have a tradition to vacation on Labor Day.
Yeah, no, usually on Labor Day weekend, we like to go down to North Carolina. We've got an affinity for Asheville, North Carolina.
So awesome.
It's such
down
an
there.
amazing town. If you ever want to go somewhere on the East Coast in the mountains, Asheville is great. They have a million different breweries down there. The hiking, you can go anywhere within an hour and have just some tremendous hiking. And not to mention the food in Asheville is freaking
So
phenomenal.
yum.
So it's an ideal spot for us. But plus we have some friends that live in Charlotte that we tend to go and visit for a couple days. So we try to split that trip up. And luckily, this year we weren't able to make it down for Labor Day weekend. However, because we are going to Charleston and they're in Charlotte, it's not a horrible drive to come down and meet us. So they're actually going to come and meet us for a day. So I'm really excited to see our friends. It's really great hanging out with them and catching up. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Same here.
Cool. So Jilly, what do we have as long as resources? Or is we doing...
We have no resources today.
We're the resource.
I guess so.
Yeah. So then, what is the Take Action Challenge?
Your Take Action Challenge is just look at your traditions and evaluate them, and just make changes to align them to what you're valuing currently.
And I would also say, when you look at the traditions, just really see how much value they're bringing to you, but also just be grateful for some of the traditions that you have as well, and say, wow, when you really, I think part of like reflecting on, the different traditions that we have, I was just like, wow, this is actually really cool that we do this
for many years.
For many years, and it's just like, have we really been doing this as long? Like, if I read off the list of movies that we've quoted,
I've heard them,
and we've quoted them for 100 days straight, and sometimes we've started over at, like, we've gotten to like day 87 and had to start over. I mean, this has been going on for years, and it's just amazing that we're still doing that. But I mean, I'm completely grateful for every tradition, and I'm actually really grateful that we had a chance to actually sit down and write down and reflect on what our traditions are, because at first I was like, we probably don't have that many traditions. We have a lot. It's crazy.
I think I appreciate them more than ever now that we have Lucille, because we need to almost be forced to have time with our friends because life can get so busy that I think sometimes you forget to like reconnect with certain friends that also have kids that are in different stages of life.
Right.
Especially at different ages. I find that you can drift apart. So the fact that we make it a point to have a reason to get together and we all know that this is what we do at the specific time we get together and we make steaks or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that we keep it going because it all makes us come back together and kind of like connect, which I think is really important, especially now with technology and texting. It's like easy to just say, oh yeah, I talk to them all the time, but to actually get face to face and have that connection time is just really awesome.
It is amazing. So Jilly.
Yes.
What is our quote of the day today?
Our quote of the day is from Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, not Sammy Davis.
No, do you know who Miles Davis is?
I think so.
It's a musician.
Yeah, so is Sammy Davis.
Are they related?
I don't think so.
I don't. Who's Sammy Davis? Is it a
Really?
sports player?
Oh no, Jilly.
Oh,
the
no.
Rat Pack? Sammy Davis?
Oh, I knew that? Question mark? I'm Ron Burgundy?
Oh, no.
I may have known that, but
Fun fact, everybody, Jill does not know who Sammy Davis is.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
That's all right. I don't even know if I want to
Victim
read the
Jr.
quote of the day now.
Go ahead, go for it.
All right, the quote of the day is, it's not about standing still and becoming safe. If anybody wants to keep creating, they have to be about change.
I like being about change. That's what we're trying to do with this podcast.
So don't get stuck where you are and doing the same traditions. If it's not meaningful to you, create new traditions.
Very well summed up, Jilly.
I thought so. Man, you really downed me about that Sammy Davis
It's okay.
shit.
We'll look him up after the podcast.
All right.
I think you'll recognize him when we're done this podcast, and I show you who he is.
Thank you, Nicholas.
You're welcome. Anyways, folks, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you liked it, please share it on social media. Give us a 5-star review. It helps us reach a larger audience.
Yes, we love reading your reviews, guys.
Reviews, and we will talk to you all again next week.
See you later, guys.
We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us and want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.